I have to say this is a real privilege to join you all. An incredibly important time for the region and for the world. It is also a real privilege to be sharing the stage with our next speaker, recently described as a rather grand old man of British politics at a remarkably tender age. William Hague is a former Foreign Secretary and Conservative Party leader who has nearly 3 decades of professional political experience. There are very few people in the world who are as qualified to make predictions about the political state of the world in 2016 as Lord Hague.
One of my forecasts for 2016 is the difficulties of the Eurozone will intensify, not about liquidity, but is about competitiveness, about the ability of different countries with different economies to compete at the same exchange rate and the same interest rate. And their inability to do that will lead to some economic divergence, not convergence, within Europe. And the disappointments that come with the Eurozone on the back of that will promote political fragmentation in Europe over the coming year. Secondly, the migration crisis that is affecting Europe will intensify. So it will be a year of profound challenges to the European Union. My third prediction, perhaps surprisingly in view of that, is that the United Kingdom will stay in the European Union. And this will be decided in a referendum in 2016, or that might creep into 2017. I think at the same time the UK will be readier to strengthen its global role with increased defense spending again, and that will be important to countries in the Gulf. But more important, my next prediction, the next president of the United States will have a more assertive foreign policy. And that president will need to respond to an increased number of failed states, to continuing major problems in the Middle East in particular, with a more interventionist foreign policy again. And after a period where America overreached itself in the Middle East under President Bush, and then has arguably underreached under President Obama, I think the cycle will turn under any of the people likely to be elected next president of the United States. Next prediction, that assertive approach will coincide with an easing of tensions with Russia, between the West and Russia. Only an easing. The crisis in Ukraine will not go away, but it will ease because Europe will find it difficult to maintain unity on the sanctions on Russia, and because there is a common enemy that Russia and the West need to work together on. And that, of course, is ISIS, Daesh. On them, I think my forecast, sadly, will be that they will continue to be able to attract more recruits worldwide. But as they come under military pressure in Iraq and Syria, their strategy will move to one of finding new areas in the world, such as they are trying in Libya now, and possibly greater international terrorism. They will probably grow stronger before they get weaker. Because all the forces that have driven their rise are still there. And so it will require great patience and determination to defeat them. Alongside that, my next prediction is the West and the Arab world will continue to find Iranian foreign policy frustrating and obstructive. Despite the nuclear deal, the West and Iran will continue to feel their way to a better relationship. But deep political divisions in Iran will make that difficult on the Iranian side. And in economic matters, foreign investment will not flow as quickly into Iran as they might hope due to political uncertainty, poor economic policy, weak rule of law. My next prediction is in the absence of agreement on a Syrian constitution and government, attention will shift to how to freeze the conflict in Syria. Except with Daesh. Tensions in East Asia are more likely to rise than fall due to fundamental disagreements over territory and rights in the South China Sea between China, Vietnam, and the Philippines. And I finish with a couple of wild card predictions, one to worry you and one to encourage you. The one to worry you is that in 2016 there will be a major cyber breach or cyber attack which radically changes the understanding of risk to many corporations, either by a scrambling of financial data or by publishing massive quantities of data from a financial institution. A cyber attack will ruin or bring near to ruin a major financial institution somewhere in the world. On the more uplifting side, there will be a major scientific breakthrough in 2016. It could be in the solar energy area, it could be in ultra-lightweight materials or the application of them, which will herald the next stage of the scientific revolution, which should be a cause overall for optimism.
Which suggests to me that you don't necessarily support the notion of a shifting access of influence from west to east. Yours is
I think it's more complex than that. I think we're moving away from axes and into networks. We are living, technologically now, we're living in a network world, and I think diplomatically we're increasingly living in a networked world.